Well, hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Pamaria and Saroma, and coming to you with the elemental wisdom for the month of July. And I'm doing it out of the order I originally thought that I would because, and I realize we are in a fire month, so I turn to red. I looked at the astrology for July, and especially July 4th has some three planetary aspects that are going on. And it makes sense because 4th of July and, what's going on with the United States. But I had planned not to do the first part of the astrology until like the 13th, that Sunday. But I realized that I would also miss the new moon energy. And anyway, all that to say, I decided, let me do the elemental wisdom today. And it's nice to be able to do it on the day that it is actually the opening of the elemental energetics for this month of July. So, as you can see, I am in my element of fire, and I just love it. What's also interesting about the elemental energies of this month is they are an imitation of what we experienced in April. So think back to April of 2025 and think about what were the major things going on for you, what was happening for you. I know for me, the major thing is that I actually was able to receive my treasures from California when I didn't think that that could happen for maybe another 5 years. So it was a great gift. It was also Easter time, and Easter time, of course, Passover is going on. I think Ramadan had just come to an end. So, there was a lot of spiritual energy happening in April. And so it's going to be interesting to see how these energies fold out for you, for me, at this time. As always, just a reminder that this information that I share with you is derived from the teachings of Malidoma and Sobonfu Somé, the great spiritual teachers and wisdom keepers born in the country of Burkina Faso, land of the great ancestors. And the elemental week begins on a Wednesday because that was the first day of January for this year. And so that's why I use Wednesday. Also, July is the second of 3 fire months. And this month, like I said, we'll experience all of the elemental energies with fire as a primary influence. This month is the same energetic order we experienced in April. And my theme for this month, this fire month, is aligning with truth. So during this month, the elemental energies encourage you and me to embrace supportive opportunities to get clear about being truthful, connecting with your soul and that of others, becoming peace-filled, and dissolving negativity by being flexible and trusting the process, as well as being a support and inspiration to others. So as you can see, we've got some things we're going to be moving through. Sometimes we get usually just 4 elements a month, but to get 5 is really significant. And because it is July, also marking the beginnings of the last half of this year of 2025, it's a pretty important thing. We've done so much good healing work up until this point. So I think now is the time to get to see some more of the rewards of that. Absolutely. So let me start by sharing with you the elemental wisdom for the month of July. Starting today, we begin with a fire week. And here is the opportunity. Be truthful with yourself and others. Call upon the ancestors to bring you clarity when you feel confused or conflicted. Walk your talk. Live in self-referred consciousness, meaning trust intuition and honest feelings, more than the opinions, advice, or judgments of others. Allow your inner authentic self to be in charge of your life versus the image of yourself that you project out to the world. As Mr. Rogers said, people can love you exactly the way you are. Yes. And again, that's the theme for this month, aligning with our truth. Because there's so much untruth going on that this will be a very important thing for us to do. So let's look at the distractions for this week. Maintaining the status quo. Feeling like you've got to go along, you've got to sell your soul to the devil, give your power away just to, keep things together. But that's a distraction. So notice when it shows up and tell it, I'm open to something new. Abandoning your true self in order to please others or avoid conflict. Lying to yourself or others. Sacrificing your needs in order to belong or be included. Yeah, this is all right, elementary and middle school stuff. And then fear of not being liked, loved, or accepted. Again, because you're not going along with the program. So again, this week is giving us this opportunity to really become more conscious of, where we need to strengthen our ability to love ourselves unconditionally. Ashe. Moving along, on July the 9th, we will have a mineral week. And here are the opportunities with this. It's about connecting with the souls of others. Unity consciousness is what makes us human. Communicate at a deeper level. We have the ability for compassion, understanding, forgiveness, and fifth dimensional relationships. A huge part of living on purpose is to be willing to transcend the shallow surface of what people present to you. See into their hearts and connect with their true essence. In this way, you must be deep and simple with your own self and connected to your own soul. This is what the age of illumination, also called the age of Aquarius, is all about. Use the healing energy of mineral, which includes stones, crystals, bones, and shells, to illuminate your higher self and that of others. And wow, is that just really good reminders when we are facing evil intentions in the world. Yes, because if you become like those who are evil, if you do to them what they're doing to you, then you've lost. You've lost. Shame. So here's the distractions for the week of the 9th. Feeling sorry for people and taking on their pain. False obligations because you forget you are worthy of being supported and loved and what you need to be nurtured. Yeah. Victim consciousness. Yeah, be on the lookout for that. I can tell you there's so much of that going on, of course, in reaction to the evil intentions and the evil actions that are going on. But being victimized is one thing, identifying as a victim is a whole nother thing. And that's what we don't want to fall into. We don't want to fall into believing that things can't change, because they can. Everything changes. Anxiety and impatience. Yeah. We're moving through a very, very difficult time in humanity for a reason, for a purpose. Don't make up the end. Don't believe in dystopia is what we're headed toward. No. Things can turn around on a dime. And then last but not least, gossip, judgments, and blaming. Yeah, be careful with that. If you're surfing social media and going down the rabbit hole of how bad things are, pull yourself out. Pull yourself out. Raise your vibration. Get back into hope and faith. Because let me tell you, there have been people on this planet who have been through much worse than what we are going through right now. And we're still here. We survived. So trust the process. And again, don't keep yourself muddled in all of the negativity. It's very unhealthy. And guess what? It doesn't change anything. That's it. Then on the third week of July, our elemental week opens up on the 16th, and we get a water week. Yeah, really important. I love this. Become peaceful, get still, and meditate and contemplate. Reconcile any negative feelings by acknowledging them, feeling the pain, and cleansing it by focusing on what is positive in your life right now. Get yourself into or nearby flowing water and allow the purifying energy of the water element to free you from feelings of anger, resentment, judgment, fear, and anything else that is disruptive and distracting to the fulfillment of your annual commitments. Remember those? Yeah. Remember, dears, God is breathing you. Call upon the divine love to free your mind. Shay. So beautiful and so, so important. Yeah. So here are the distractions: ignoring or sedating your pain, telling yourself that your problems can wait, attempting to change someone. Yeah, don't go down that road. Blaming others for how you are choosing to feel about yourself, and using anger, rage, or judgment to protect yourself from other people's pain. Yeah. None of this brings you peace of mind. So be on the lookout for it. And when it does show up, not if, when it does show up, know that you have a choice. You can shift out of all of that. Ashe. And of course, as I always remind you, it always starts with a prayer, right? Whoever your greater order and direction is, Lord, enable me to access my peacefulness, to embrace my peaceful state of mind. Keep me from going down the dark hole of negativity and despair. Sheh. So then the fourth week of the July elemental energies opens with a nature week. Yeah, and here is the message and opportunity in that. So important. Be flexible. Trust the process. Surrender your attachment to your plan. When we make up what we think is the best way for our dreams to come true, we are sure to be disappointed. Trust that the universe, with its unknowable ability to make things happen in the right way and at the right time, is more powerful than your brain or that of any other human. Want it to be right for you more than just wanting it. I'll repeat that. Want it to be right for you more than just wanting it. Let go of trying to figure it all out. Do what is right in front of you to do at the present time, and know that more will be revealed. Connect with the magical and tricky energy of the nature element, whether that is in the form of plants, trees, flowers, animals, or humans, to help you accept the greater order and direction you are being asked to experience. Wow, wow, folks, this is it right here. Back to us being able and willing to let go of what we think we know is really going on and how we think it's all going to resolve or to not resolve. Yeah, and this is really a great message for everything that's going on right now. Yeah. Here's the distractions: being arrogant and or stubborn. And arrogance is about, I am right and I know and nothing's going to change me from that. Yeah, let go of that. That will really destroy you. Attempting to change a no into a yes, or a yes into a no. This one is challenging, but it's so important, because unless you can accept a no, you can't get to a yes. And unless you can accept the yes about things that work for you, you won't be able to set your boundary and get to a no when things do not work for you. Very, very interesting and true. Despairing and trying to go back to the place you know best, also known as trying to squeeze back through the hole. Yeah. We're in a time of great, great shift, change, and transformation. And we're all, I believe, if not physically, definitely emotionally, psychically, psychologically, mentally, in a very different space than what we've been. And so we will have this longing to, I want to go back to 5 years. I want to go back to 10 years. Don't do that to yourself. What we're going through is a serious human evolutionary experience on this planet to become the more of what we truly are, to become our truth, to align with that. And as I always tell you, you're not a battery for the matrix. You're not here just to pay taxes and die. You have a purpose. You came born full. And this is what more needs to be showing up in how we experience our lives and each other on this planet. So hold on to that. That's how the universe really works. Last but not least, beating yourself up for situations and or outcomes over which you have no control. Again, back to this acceptance and surrendering posture so that you can learn what is really, really going on. And again, I know this is all very challenging right now, but you'll save yourself time, wasting time, suffering, and getting sick. So be flexible, be like Gumby, and remember nature is all about change, all about, the importance of change. And that's what's going on. Shay. And then last but not least, we end our elemental month of July with an Earth Week in this Earth year. And here are the opportunities. Oh, so wonderful and important. It's about give support, pay it forward, be an inspiration, offer assistance without expecting anything material in return. Demonstrate your ability to be generous, compassionate, considerate, and trustworthy. Invoke the generative, nourishing, and abundant universal love energy of the earth element to be of service to others. In doing this in a humble and balanced way, you will be gifting your soul with unconditional love. This emotional resource will serve you well as you continue to move through unexpected barriers to the fulfillment of your annual commitments. As you comfort others, you will be comforted. I think this is such a nice and lovely note for us to end the month on. It almost feels like landing onto a soft cushion, because when we can consider others and take the focus off of just ourselves, oh my God, it makes such a difference to move through, the challenges, to move through challenging times. Absolutely. So here are the distractions: that fear of hearing no, right? The fear of being a burden. Yeah. And that fear of being judged as weak or a failure when you are, trying to make a difference in this world by being of service, being in service to others. And, when we are being in service, we're also actually doing that for ourselves. Yeah. So there you have it. There you have it. There's our elemental wisdom for the month of July. And as always, I want to remind you that on Saturday, July 22nd, we will have or is that Thursday? Hold on for 1 second. What is the 22nd? The 22nd is actually a Tuesday. I really screwed up. I thought it was a Thursday, but it's Saturday. But Tuesday, July 22nd is our time to pause and honor the earth, especially in this Earth year, and especially with everything that is going on, like our national parks in the United States being in jeopardy for development, if you can imagine that. On Earth Day this year in April, the theme was Our Power, Our Planet. There is this aspiration to invite everyone to unite behind renewable energy and to triple the global generation of clean electricity by 2030. Yeah. And intended results, providing affordable, sustainable power for everyone, creating millions of new jobs in the energy industry, prioritizing health and health equity by reducing fossil fuel induced pollution, and improving air and water quality. These are beautiful aspirations for us to have. And I encourage you to go to the website www.earthday.org to get more information, to be inspired, and to remember that we can save this planet, clean up this planet so that it can be habitable for the seventh generation that comes after us. Ashe. So, my dears, there you have it. There you have it. I hope that you have a very healthy and safe 4th of July holiday coming up here in the United States. Take it easy. It's, again, the time that we're living in. There's a lot of mess that can go on. So take care of yourselves, spend time with family and loving friends, and just give yourself permission to really take a break. Be at rest, be at peace. I will return this Sunday, as I said, to do the astrological information for you because it is so interestingly powerful. We're in a time when all of the outer planets, starting with Saturn, have moved into a different part of what we can experience in the heavens. And so these movements happening like this within the span of, a 12-month period is unprecedented. It doesn't happen often, like maybe 2,000 years ago, an astrologer said, or something like that. So yeah, we are really living in a very powerful time of change. So again, be well, be safe, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to working with you again on Sunday around those elemental energies. Bye-bye now.